Hello everybody. I want you to watch this video, and this video is for us swimmers, for you swimmers. We're going to go over some technique stuff, stuff that you already know we've been working on, we've been talking about a lot. Those of you that I'm coaching, you've seen this written in detail. I'm going to use Heather as a model. She doesn't really know what's coming. We're just going to ask her to get in different positions. But I also want you to see here, not only the swim technique, but there's some stuff in here on some bands and so forth that we have that are relatively new, some things I put in that we can use to help for you to practice this swim stroke, to get some resistance, maybe some training, trying both arms, making sure you're getting the right things activated. This is a great way to see if those shoulder blades are really working on this stroke, see if the pattern of your movement is where it needs to be, see if you are even streamlined. If you can't hold yourself streamlined in the positions we're going to be in here shortly, there's no way you're going to do it in the water. And so again, here's some ways that we can practice that, maybe in this off season, maybe just around these times. So we're going to bring Heather in here shortly and get on this stool. She's going to lay on her belly, and we're going to pretend that she's in the water. Okay, so great job. So she's got her belly button on there. We've got a towel on there just to make it more comfortable. She's going to get in a streamlined position. And what she's trying to do is, if she's in the water, she's got a straight line. Her legs aren't dangling down, her hips aren't coming down, so she's got to squeeze her back pockets to do that. Think Superman. And the longer you hold here, you see how parts of the body will start to sag or drop down, and her shoulder blades want to start dropping, her arms want to start dropping. Now, that's not an indicator of fitness or strength, that's just a normal tendency that starts to happen. So if it doesn't last very long here, how long is it truly going to last in the water if you're swimming for half an hour, depending on how long your races are, okay? So we can see those positions. Now what we'll do, we'll put a band on her wrist, and we'll start practicing some of the swim stroke. So now when you come in, this band just goes around you in this position. Remember that as you're reaching out, so you're going to get in that streamlined position, and we're going to pretend that this arm is back. So that arm is just back here. We're only working on this piece. The swim stroke, it gets to here, so we're really looking at the catch. We've got a little bit of a bend in the elbow. Her shoulder blade is elevated. It's up. As she gets here, this is where she's going to start. She's going to pull that straight back by making this move first. Then the arm's coming around and back in. She won't have to worry about grabbing it, because she gets to there. This is elevated. Now she's going to get a little bend. Going to get a vertical forearm as quick as she can, depressing this at the same time and coming all the way back and over. Just going to repeat that several times. And as you watch this shoulder blade, that's where you really want to focus. And instead of coming up and around like she's doing, she's going to come back. You're going to lift her elbow straight up in the air, just like that. And it pulls back. Elbow stays high and back. So as we're doing this, talking about high elbow, we're trying to keep the elbow above the hand and wrist all the time. So as she comes up, it comes up in here and just back through. We don't want to windmill that arm, just keep it back. This is her focus. She's keeping everything else level and just working on this arm, just doing some repeats against that resistance. You'll start to see that as she gets tired, her hand is going to drop deeper. The elbow's sinking a little bit, so you try to keep that elbow in line with her body as it's coming back. If you're doing this, you can kind of see where your hand's going relative to the floor. You can see where that band angle is. And since you don't need to grab anything, we can focus simply on that shoulder blade and that back working. Okay, let's try the other side. Now you're not going to be able to see the other side as well, but I would want you to do both sides and see if it works the same way. So she goes back and gets the body organized, and you see how that wants to fly out to the side, so you keep her elbow high and then come back. There you go. Get that shoulder blade to work. As soon as it's here, you get that forearm vertical, pull back, don't let it flip around. Keep that elbow high, bring it up in here and over. Good. And as you start to get tired, maybe if you're working just on shoulder blades, you let those legs drop. But in the water, you've got to keep all those things stabilized and up. You're not doing a rotation like you would normally do in the water, so you're just working on the motion coming through. If for some reason this was difficult for you to stay stabilized on the stool, you could bring one of the black tables that are just right behind me, sitting here, so now your whole body's out there flat and you can use that to pull through. You could stand here, pretend like you're doing, careful, keep that elbow high. You can stand here, pretend like you're doing a deadlift where you're hinging at the hip, keeping your back straight and getting level, and then doing this. Any one of those three positions, you could practice, you could try. But again, you're trying to get this shoulder blade to work, get the pattern down. There are different resistance bands that you could use. I mean, she's using a green band right now. She could use a black band, a yellow band, whatever is needed. Again, just working on the pattern, working on the technique, getting those shoulder blades to fire, and then practicing side to side, getting that pattern down. And then we take that to the water. Then once we get in the water, continue to try those pieces. I think that this will help many of you learn that technique, practice that technique. We can look at it, we can talk about it. Anyway, when you guys come in, before class, after class, maybe you just come in intentionally just to do this, but this is something worth your time.